Hello and welcome to the Tendercoffee with Yaroslava and Tab, Tender Active People. Make your coffee, we already started. Today we are talking about a new law on transparent construction and discussing the application of new norms of this law. Sorry guys. But at the beginning, I propose that you pay attention to the feature of implementation of public procurement of goods, works and services during the legal regime of martial law in Ukraine. Above all, we consider how to conclude the public procurement contract following the norm of these features. The public procurement contract, based on the results of procurement in accordance with clauses 10 and 13 of the features, is concluded in accordance with the civil and commercial codes of Ukraine and taking into account the provision of Article 41 of the law on public procurement, except parts 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7, 8, 9 of this article of this law. Therefore, if the public procurement contract, based on the procurement results in accordance with Clause 10 or Clause 13 of the features, then only such procurement contract must be concluded taking into account the provision of Part 1 of Article 41 of the law on public procurement. I want to emphasize, guys, that the new law on transparent construction changed Part 1 of Article 41 of the law on public procurement. So, let's dive further. According to Part 1 of Article 41 of the law on public procurement, the following is provided for. If the customer concludes a contract for the public procurement of services for current repair or works on new construction with the development of product documentation or without such development, concludes a contract of reconstruction, restoration or overhaul of the construction object, then documents containing information on the prices of material resources are integral annexes to such a contract. In documents containing information on the prices of material resources, the following information must be specified: the name of the material resources with characteristics, its unit of measurement, quantity, selling price, as well as the cost of transportation and procurement and storage costs, as well as the country of origin of the goods for each nomenclature item. Such documents may contain other information. Pay attention, guys. Such procurement contract and all integral annexes with information on the material resources must be published in Prozoro within 3 business days upon the date of such a contract in machine-readable format. This also applies to the contracts concluded with exceptions without using the Prozoro. Be careful, guys. I want to emphasize that in accordance with Clause 10 of Part 1 of Article 10 of the law on public procurement, can be assumed that the customer must be published the public procurement contract with all annexes with information of the material resources, regardless of what the scope of procurement is. For instance, if the customer purchases a car maintenance service, why is this so? Let me explain to you. One moment, please. Because the norm of Clause 10 of Part 1 of Article 10 of the law on public procurement doesn't contain an exception regarding to the scope of procurement, this norm contains an exception only in the case of the publication of the public procurement contract and its annexes in the machine-readable format. So, let's dive further even deeper. The new norms of Clause 11 of Part 1 of Article 10 of the Law on Public Procurement provide that the customer must be published a notification of amendments to the procurement contract and amendments thereto in cases provided for in Part 5 of Article 41 of this law, including documents containing information of the prices of material resources in case of changes in their prices in machine-readable format. This also applies to contracts concluded with exceptions without using the prosoro. But there is one nuance. What is the nuance? Okay, let me explain to you. In accordance with Clause 20 of the Features on Public Procurement during the legal regime of martial law in Ukraine, the customer must be published a notification of amendments to the procurement contract in cases provided for in Clause 19 of these features, but not in accordance with Part 5 of Article 41 of the Law on Public Procurement. As a consequence, can be assumed that the customer mustn't publish the prices of material resources because he doesn't change essential terms of the public procurement contract in cases of Part 5 of Article 41 of the Law on Public Procurement. In my mind, guys, changes should be made to the features. Simultaneously, it's necessary to pay attention to the final provisions of the new law on transparent construction, which requires the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine to bring its normative legal acts into compliance with this new law and ensure the possibility of technical implementation new norms in the electronic system prosoro. And now about a new important points in the form of your question and my answer. Your first question: do the new changes apply to the public procurement with an accepted value of scope of procurement of 50,000 Ukrainian hryvnias? My answer: in my opinion, don't. I think as of today, in the version of the features, no. But maybe tomorrow, the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine will make changes to the features. So be careful. Okay, your second question. Do the new changes apply to the public procurement procedure if such procedure began before the new changes? My answer: in my opinion, don't. Your third question. Do the new changes apply to the public procurement procedure and or to the exception of subclause 6 of clause 13 of the features if such public procurement began after the new changes? My answer: in my opinion, yes. Okay, your fourth question. How the bidder, how the customer applies these new norms? Maybe in the bidding documents or and in the bidder's bid? My answer: you can get my legal advice on this issue and another one on this topic and other topics if you contact me separately. Ultimately, I recommend you subscribe to my pages on Facebook and join my group on Signal. Working smart, but not hard and directive people. That's all for today. See you later.